In unit number 2, it is all about the residential status and incidence of tax. So what is this residential status? If I ask you what is your salary, you will say 40,000, you will say 30,000, you will say 1 lakh. But you will not be knowing what is the exact meaning of salary, right? Just you will say, sir, I am earning 1 lakh rupees. So 1 lakh rupees per month is my salary. So 10 plus 10 plus 5 plus 5. So 10 plus 10 problem plus 5 problem plus 5 theory. So this chapter is also very much important. Hello everyone, I am Arun Kumar, lecturer in Department of Commerce and Management, Vidhyaashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence, MYSURU. Dear students, welcome to this very first session on the subject Income Tax Law and Practice. In this particular subject, we are going to discuss about the syllabus. Okay, so this particular subject, that is Income Tax Law and Practice 1, is there for 5th Sem BCom students who are studying under University of Mysore. And even other university students will also be having this subject, but they'll be having in different semesters. But for the students who are studying in University of Mysore, for them, this subject is there for their 5th semester. So today we'll be discussing about the introduction part of the syllabus for the subject Income Tax Law and Practice 1 for 5th Sem BCom students who are studying under University of Mysore. So now, if you look into the agenda of this particular session, we are going to discuss about the introduction part of the particular subject and the revised NEP syllabus. Yes, before NEP we had CBCS scheme in University of Mysore. Now from past 2 years they implemented NEP syllabus. So the present year BCom students who are in 5th semester, they comes under NEP scheme. And this particular subject also comes under the NEP scheme. So the syllabus is as per the NEP scheme. Next exam pattern we will be discussing, and finally we are discussing about the 4 aspects, that is the introduction to the subject and the revised NEP syllabus as per the NEP system, and the exam pattern and also the books for reference. So now let us move on to the introduction part, that is the syllabus. So in this subject, totally we have 5 units. How many units we have? Totally we have 5 units. So unit 1 deals with basic concepts of income tax. Unit 1 deals with the basic concepts of income tax. Unit 2, it deals with the residential status and incidence of tax. So unit 1 we are going to know about the basic concepts of income tax, that is what is income tax, what and all the terminologies or the definitions which comes under the income tax, which act we are supposed to follow under the income tax law, that and all we will be studying under unit number 1. In unit number 2, it is all about the residential status and incidence of tax. So what is this residential status? Residential status is nothing but while you are taxing, while you are imposing the tax on income earned by any individual person, at that time first you are supposed to look into his residential status, that is whether he is a resident of India or a non-resident of India or a semi-resident of India. To know whether he is a resident, non-resident or semi-resident, yes, obviously we are supposed to look into this residential status rules and regulations which are prescribed by the Income Tax Authority under the Income Tax Act. That we will be discussing under unit number 2. Next, unit number 3, income from salary. Yes, if you are a salaried person, if you are earning salary every month, so what is the tax you are supposed to pay to the government, and what and all the components are called salary, and what and all the deductions you can claim under the income tax rules with respect to income from salary, and how to compute your total salary for your annual values. About that we are going to study under income from salary, that is unit number 3. Next, unit number 4, it deals with income from house property. Yes, here in unit number 4 we are going to study about income from house property. In case if you have 3 to 4 houses, in one house you are staying and the remaining 2 houses or 3 houses are let out for the purpose of earning the income. So if you are letting out the property for rent, then whatever the rent you will be receiving, that is your income. Is the whole rent is your income or the partial is income? That you will not be knowing. So to calculate what is the income, rental income earned by you, so they had given you a format and some rules and regulations, that is income from house property. In this particular chapter, you are going to study about how to compute the income from house property if you are earning any rent from letting out the properties. Next, unit number 5, it deals with tax deductions at source and advance tax ruling. Yes, TDS and advance tax. TDS in short of tax deduction at source. So how to calculate this TDS, when the TDS will be deducted, and how we are supposed to calculate the TDS, and the advance tax ruling. That means how to calculate the advance tax payment and how to pay that advance tax to the income tax authority on installment basis. About this we are going to study in unit number 5. So totally we have 5 units under this particular subject for this 5th semester BCom students who are studying in University of Mysore, and all the 5 units are very easy. It is very understandable. You need not to find it difficult while you are studying, because the subject is very easy, the concepts are very easy, and you can score 100% marks in this particular subject. So now let us move on unit wise in detail. So unit number 1. So as I said, unit number 1, it deals with the basic concepts of income tax. So unit number 1, it deals with basic concepts of income tax. So in this, first you are going to study about the introduction to income tax. So what is income tax? The history of income tax. Here you can see the meaning of tax. That is, what is the meaning of tax? For what we call tax? Why we are supposed to collect tax? And types of taxes. So how many types of taxes we have? Like income tax and indirect tax. Again, under income tax we also have corporate tax planning. Okay, so firstly direct tax, indirect tax. Under direct tax, income tax, corporate tax. So what is corporate tax? What is income tax? What is indirect tax? That and all we are going to study here in types of taxes. And also canons of taxation. It's nothing but the characteristics of taxation or the features or the principles of taxation. And brief history of Indian income tax. Yes, so we are going to study about the brief history of Indian income tax. And also the legal framework of taxation. That means how we formed the income tax rules and regulations in India, and what and all the rules we are following as per the legal framework which is framed in India as per the requirement. And next, important definitions. So what and all the important definitions we are going to study in this particular chapter. So the first thing is assessment. So what is assessment? What is assessment year? What is previous year? Okay, and what is assessee? Next, what is person? What is income? What is casual income? Next, what is gross total income? What is total income? And what is agriculture income with respect to Indian agriculture income and with respect to foreign agriculture income? And what is this scheme of taxation? And also exempted incomes of individuals under Section 10 of the Income Tax Act 1961. So about this all aspects we are going to study in this particular semester for this particular subject in this unit. So the definitions what we are going to study in this particular unit, that will definitely come for your exam at least for 15 to 20 marks. So this chapter is very much important, and this chapter purely deals with theoretical aspects of income tax. Unit number 1, it fully deals with the theoretical aspects. You will not solving, or you are not going to solve any problems in this particular unit. So next, move on to unit number 2. So unit number 2, what is unit number 2? It is residential status and incidence of tax. So as I said, we are going to study about the residential status of an individual under Section 6 of the Income Tax Act 1961. So where we will be studying about the residential status of an individual. So as an individual person, okay, how the residential status of that person will be determined under the Income Tax Act rules. That we will be studying here in this unit. And determination of residential status of an individual. So how we are going to determine? So determine the residential status of an individual. We should have some set of rules and regulations, right? So what are those rules and regulations? Who is going to give that rules and regulations? So how to determine the residential status by using those rules and regulations? About this we are going to study in this unit. And also incidence of tax or scope of total income. That means how this tax will be calculated if an individual person is earning the income. So how we are going to calculate the tax based on his residential status, that we will be learning, and we are going to solve few problems on computation of the gross total income of an individual. So here we will be solving few problems in this particular unit based on computation of gross total income of an individual according to his residential status. So in this unit you will be solving few problems, and also you will be learning some theoretical aspects with respect to the residential status of an individual. So if it comes to theoretical aspects, you might ask a 15 marks question or 10 marks question in the main exam, and also 10 marks problem compulsorily. Okay, so 15 marks or 10 marks theory question. What you might ask for theory? You might ask, explain the residential status of an individual under section 6 of the Income Tax Act 1961. This question might be asked in the main exam for 10 marks or 15 marks. In problem, it is about solve the problem or compute the gross total income of an individual. You might ask that question for 10 marks. So totally in this unit you can expect it for 20 marks or for 25 marks. Next, moving on to unit number 3, income from salary. So unit number 3 deals with income from salary. So you are going to study about the introduction part of income from salary, meaning of salary. Most of us will not be knowing. If I ask you what is your salary, you will say 40,000, you will say 30,000, you will say 1 lakh, but you will not be knowing what is the exact meaning of salary, right? Just you will say, sir, I am earning 1 lakh rupees, so 1 lakh rupees per month is my salary, but you will not be knowing what and all the components are included in that particular salary, right? So that we are going to study here in this income from salary chapter. Next, basis of charge, definitions and salary. So here basis of charge, on what basis we are going to charge under the income from salary, and what and all the items we can charge, or what and all the items we can include, and the perquisites and profits in levy of salary. Yes, we are going to study about the perquisites. So you are not knowing, I hope for the first time you are listening to this particular word perquisites, you are not knowing the meaning. So that you are going to learn in this particular unit. And provident fund, what is provident fund and who is supposed to contribute towards the provident fund, whether everybody can contribute or only few set of people can contribute, that you are going to study about the provident fund. And transferred balance, retirement benefits, gratuity, pension and leave salary. Okay, so retirement benefits, gratuity, pension, if you are receiving pension, how to calculate pension, if you are receiving gratuity, how to calculate gratuity, and what is the meaning of gratuity, how much portion of gratuity is taxable and what portion of gratuity is exempted, that you will be studying. And deductions and problems on computations of taxable salary. Yes, you are going to study about the deductions which comes under income from salary. So under each head of income, whether it's a salary, house property, business and profession, or the capital gain or other sources, we have set of deductions for each income. So under income from salary, what and all the deductions we have, and what and all the provisions we have as per the income tax rule that we have, and we are going to study, or we are going to solve a few problems on computation of taxable salary. So you'll be receiving 1 lakh rupees of salary, whether the whole 1 lakh rupees is taxable, on 1 lakh you're supposed to pay tax, or there are certain rules and regulations, or how we are going to compute the deductions or the exemptions which respect to your salary, that we will be solving under income from salary head. So in this particular unit, you'll be learning about the theoretical aspects as well as the problematical aspects. So max to max, you will get 30 marks questions from this particular unit. You might ask 15 marks question, 5 marks question plus 10 marks question. Okay, 15 plus 5 plus 10. Totally they might ask, okay, totally they might ask 30 marks question in the main exam for this particular unit. Next, unit number 4, income from house property. So income from house property, in this you want to study about the introduction part of income from house property, basis of charge, deemed owners, on what basis they'll charge, whether they charge for all the houses, whether you're staying or whether you're not staying, whether the house is vacant or whether the house is let out or whether the house is leased, whether they'll collect the tax on all the houses or only on specific houses, that we will be get to know. And deemed owners, so who will be called as a owner and who will be called as a deemed owner with respect to computation of house property income. And house property incomes exempt from tax. Yes, you can't impose a tax on all the houses. Okay, on what kind of houses the tax is exempted and which kind of houses you can be considered as exempted from income tax, that you will be studying. And the composite rent and unrealized rent. Yes, what is composite rent and what is unrealized rent, that you will be knowing or we will be discussing in this particular unit. And what is the meaning of annual value? Okay, we will not be knowing what is the annual value. For example, you will be receiving, let us say 10,000 rupees per month rent. Okay, for 12 months, how much you will be receiving? 1,20,000 rupees. Is the whole 1,20,000 is called annual rent? No, we will not be knowing. So there is a rules and regulations to calculate the annual value. So that we will be learning under this unit. And determination of annual value. That means how to determine the annual value. So they are given some rules and regulations. As per those rules and regulations, we are supposed to calculate the annual value. Then you will get the final answer as the annual value only if you follow the rules and regulations given by the income tax authority. Next, deductions from annual value. So what and all the deductions we can claim under annual value as per the income tax rules, that we will be studying. And we will also be solving few problems under income from house property. So here we will be solving few problems with respect to income from house property. We will get to know how to calculate the income from house property. So max to max they will be asking a 15 marks problem. 15 marks problem for your main exam from this unit number 4. Next, unit number 5, tax deduction at source and advanced tax ruling, that is TDS and advanced tax. You are going to study the introduction part of this TDS and advanced tax and the meaning of TDS. So what is the meaning of TDS? On what the TDS will be deducted? At what percent the TDS will be deducted? Everything we will be studying. And provision regarding TDS and TDS to be made from salaries. Yes, what is the TDS? To be made from salaries. What is the tax supposed to be deducted? What is the tax amount is supposed to be deducted from your salary, that you will be studying. And filing of quarterly statement. So how to file the quarterly statement? Every 3 months once you are supposed to pay the tax to the government, advance tax, that we also be studying. And theory and problems with respect to this TDS. Okay, theory and problem. So we'll be learning about the theoretical aspect of TDS and also we'll be solving few problems with respect to TDS. Next, advanced tax. So what is the meaning of advanced tax and computation of advanced tax, installment of advanced tax and due dates, deductions under section 80C. Okay, so here we'll be studying about what is advanced tax and how to compute advanced tax and how to pay the advanced tax amount in installments and what and all the installment due dates we have under advanced tax. This we will be studying. And we also be studying about the different deductions we have under section 80. So we will be studying about 80C, 80CCC, 80CCD, 80CCG, 80D, 80DD, 80DDB, 80E, 80G, 80GG, 80TTA and 80U as applicable to individual. So these sections are applicable to individual person. If any individual person is earning income, you can claim for this many deductions. So about this deductions we are going to study under this particular unit. So from this unit you will be studying both theory as well as problems. So you might get a questions for 10 plus 10 plus 5 plus 5. So totally again from this unit also you will get questions for 30 marks. So 10 plus 10 plus 5 plus 5. So 10 plus 10 problem plus 5 problem plus 5 theory. So this chapter is also very much important. Next, moving further, the question paper pattern. So if you look into the question paper pattern, so there will be three parts. There will be three parts, part A, part B and part C. In part A, they will be giving you 7 questions. How many questions they will give? 7 questions. You are supposed to answer any 5 questions. Each question carries 2 marks. Each question carries 2 marks. Sometimes what he'll do, he'll give only 2 questions which carries 5 marks each. Okay. He'll give only 2 questions which carries 5 marks each. Again, total comes to 10 marks. So in part A, he'll be asking question for 10 marks. Either he might ask 2 marks questions, 5 questions, or 5 marks, 2 questions. Part B, you'll be asking 4 questions, you'll be answering 2 questions, totally for 20 marks. Okay, you'll be giving 4 questions, you'll be answering 2 questions, each question carries 10 marks, totally for 20 marks, part B. Part C, you'll be asking 4 questions and you'll be answering 2 questions, each question carries 15 marks, totally for 30 marks. So you'll be asking 4 questions, you'll be answering 2 questions, each question carries 15 marks and totally you'll be answering for 30 marks. So totally from part A, part B and part C, 10 plus 20 plus 30 totally for 60 marks. So for the main exam, you'll be getting questions for 60 marks. So it is very easy to get passed because 40 marks your internals and 60 marks is your external, that is the main exam where you're going to write the exam. Next one, blueprint of the particular syllabus. So here with respect to unit number 1, that is the basic concepts of income tax. So for 2 marks, you'll get 2 questions or 5 marks, 1 question. For 10 marks, you'll get 1 question. Compulsorily 10 marks, 1 question. So here for 2 marks or 5 marks, they'll be asking any 2 theory questions and 1 problem from unit number 1. And unit number 2, residential status and incidence of tax. You might ask 1 theory question for 10 marks and 1 theory questions for 15 marks, or 1 problem for 10 marks and 1 problem for theory, that is for 15 marks. And unit number 3, income from salary. Compulsorily you'll be asking a question for 15 marks or 2 questions for 15 marks, 1 theory plus 1 problem and 1 question for 10 marks. And 4th unit, income from house property. So you'll be asking 1 15 marks question compulsorily from unit number 4. And tax deduction and advance tax ruling, that is unit number 5. From unit number 5, for 5 marks or 2 marks you'll get 3 questions, and for 10 marks you'll get 2 questions under this particular unit. So you're supposed to give more weightage to unit number 2, unit number 3 and unit number 4. Okay, you're supposed to give more weightage to unit number 2, 3 and 4, where you can score 100% or 100 out of 100 marks just by studying this 3 units. If you're very good and if you are very enthusiastic to learn about all the topics, you can study all the 5 units and you can have the options also while you're writing your main exam. So this is about the blueprint of this particular subject. Next, moving on to books for reference. So mainly I'll refer you, or I'll suggest you only 3 books. Okay, by reading these 3 books you'll get all the informations with respect to your subject. These 3 books are reference books which are written by the great authors. The first book is written by Mehrotra and T.S. Goyal. The book name is Direct Taxes. So the book name is Direct Taxes, which is written by H.C. Mehrotra and T.S. Goyal. Second one, the book name is Direct Taxes and the book is written by Vinod K. Singhania. The book is written by Vinod K. Singhania. And third one is again the book name is Direct Taxes and the book author is Bhagavati Prasad. Okay, so these three books are very much useful for you to refer and to get more information about this particular subject. So with this, I'm going to wind up this session. I'll come up with the more videos with respect to this subject. Until then, thank you all. Have a nice day. Namaste.